The pattern of freezing or dissociating is essentially a trauma response. And so it happens when there's a trauma in the system related to childhood, even like our ancestry, whatever. There's something in our system, energy that's locked, bound up, frozen. And so something will happen in our external life that triggers that energy. And because it's so uncomfortable, it's traumatic. We, instead of feeling it fully, we dissociate, meaning our awareness doesn't quite leave our body, but you could see that metaphorically, like our awareness kind of, it feels almost like you're up here instead of here, centered behind your eyes, you're like up here. It might feel like there's a sort of fog over your awareness. There's this layer between you and the internal experience that's so uncomfortable that is acting like a protective mechanism so that you don't feel it. And it could happen in many, many ways. A really chronic dissociative pattern in Western society is overthinking. That's a chronic pattern that almost everybody has. We think and think and think and think so we don't have to feel. And as soon as the mind goes quiet, like on a retreat, for example, if you meditate for a day or 2 days or whatever, let's say a Vipassana retreat on day 3, everybody's going fucking crazy because all their thoughts processed. And now there's this bubbling up of like repressed or unaddressed emotion. They're like, oh my God, like what? This has been inside of me all along. And then that starts to process. But in the case of a dissociative or freeze response, if it's a pattern that happens over and over, there's likely, that's a clue that there's a trauma in the system that wants to be addressed. And that because it's so uncomfortable and maybe it's buried, our awareness doesn't really want to touch it. And so we escape. And there's many techniques to resolve this: somatic psychotherapy, Hakomi therapy, somatic experiencing. My personal experience comes from not only meditation and Qigong, but shamanic work, where we do a lot of work directly with these sorts of traumas and bringing people back into their body, back into contact with that trauma. But the common thread between all of these modalities is that they're meant to bring you in touch directly with the trauma that's causing the freeze response or the dissociative pattern to emerge. So all of these things are a way of contacting what is the pain inside that we're escaping from. What is that? And then being with it in a way that doesn't overwhelm the system to the point where it's just like we're almost re-traumatizing ourselves. The volcano erupting and we like, it's too much. So any modality typically will work to sort of titrate that trauma, like a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time. As a disclaimer, caveat, typically this is best done or should really, I'll say it should be done with a trained therapist or somebody who works with this type of energy who can guide you through it. So yes, like work with it on your own, but also get some outside guidance and support and somebody to help you. So the first thing is you want to look for clues. And looking for clues means when you find yourself in this freeze or dissociation response, rather than the initial sort of gut reaction to it, which is, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. How do I make it stop? Instead of that, get really curious about what's going on, immediately curious. And so you're not pushing it away, observe it and study it. Again, like we always say, like a scientist in a lab, study what's going on in your internal system. And what you want to look for is there anything that happened immediately before that response came up? And do those things have similar themes? You spoke to me about something that people are talking about, a specific topic brings this up, right? It could be a topic of conversation. It could be an emotion that arises in your system. Some people dissociate when they get anxious. So whenever anxiety bubbles up or an external situation triggers anxiety, they dissociate. Or even sadness, different emotions do this in different ways. Maybe there's a physical body sensation that happens right before, or there's a thought pattern that comes up, but you're looking for clues. What are the patterns before and then also during? So when you find yourself in that fogged out or dissociated or the flashing lights or like any that sort of pattern, the freeze response, during it, be on the lookout. So, okay, yes, I'm like all fucked up right now. I'm all twisted up and I'm like, my head's in the clouds and I can't see straight. And like, yes, okay, great. Now, what can I see? Well, I see all these flashing lights or whatever. I see all this fog, but there's a hint. This is just an example. There's a hint of a pain in my heart, or there's a hint of a pain in my liver or solar plexus or stomach, or there's a hint of an emotion. It feels like it might be sadness. There's something underneath. And again, all of that, the freeze dissociative response and all of the symptoms that it carries is protecting you from whatever that thing underneath is. So the goal is, again, what are the clues that bring it up? Gather data. And then what's underneath it? And when you find that thing, see if to whatever degree you can, again, we're titrating. You're not trying to break it open and release it all at once. This is a process and it can take a long time. That's fine, because in that long time, there's all of this learning and growth and rediscovery of yourself that happens. So it's a good thing. It's a very good thing. There's no such thing as a healer that's never been wounded. There's no such thing. So this is the wound that you learn how to heal others through. So put your awareness on it to whatever degree you can. If it's, let's say it's this like hint of sadness, almost like the cat running around a corner. You just see the flash of its tail, right? This flash of sadness, and that's all you see. Or maybe it's a little bit stronger, whatever. See if you can just sink your awareness onto that. Oh, I lost it. I'm up in the clouds again. Okay, well, let me see if I can find it again. And to whatever degree you can, put your awareness on it and allow it, invite it to open up at whatever pace it wants to open up at. The beautiful thing about our body, our nervous system, is that it always knows exactly how much the ego can handle. It always knows how much to release at a given time. Our ego is going to want to say like, oh, fucking release it all. Let me get rid of it. And like, no, your ego is wrong. The mind is wrong. The body knows. The body has perfect intelligence. So the body's going to give you a little bit, or it's going to give you a medium-sized amount, or maybe you sink into a 90-minute meditation and you're busting through blockages and dissolving, and it appears and you're dissolving, like you dissolve a big chunk of it all at once. That can happen too. But the body's going to give you whatever you can handle in that moment, no more, no less. Okay? So put your awareness there, invite it to open up at whatever pace it wants to. If it's a tiny bit, cool, free money. Made a few bucks, great. If it's $1,000, great. If it's $1 million one day, great. Doesn't matter. And in the process of that, give it good energy. So whatever comes up, that dissociative freeze response, instead of the, oh, fuck, this is so uncomfortable, let me get rid of it, like this is screwing with my life, whatever. Give it good energy, meaning in the same way as we spoke about this being a frozen emotion, a frozen energy in the nervous system, a trauma. If your friend is frozen outside and he's been shivering and shaking and I let him in, I'm not going to be like, oh, warm up. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Shake. You give him a blanket. You're like, hey, come sit by the fire. It's all good. Like, you give him time, right? You give him good energy, in other words. What we're doing with our nervous system is often the like, what the fuck are you doing? That kind of response. That's no bueno. Don't do that to yourself. So give the process good energy, give the emotion that's trapped and frozen good energy. As it thaws and as it releases, give it good energy and allow it to take as long as it takes. You can't speed up your friend warming up. You can't speed up the emotion liquefying and processing and dissolving. You can't speed that up. Okay. And you shouldn't, because again, the intelligence of the body is perfect. It's releasing at the perfect time. Our ego is not. Our ego doesn't have a clue of what the timing should be, or all of our stories and ways of looking at, they're wrong. It's wrong. So allow the body to do its job. In other words, that's a really short way of saying all of this. Allow the body to do its job. The body wants to release these energies because energies want to move. So allow the body to do its job by not getting in the way of the body. And the way that we get in the way of the body is by losing awareness, which is what a dissociative freeze response is. We lose awareness, but you can put your awareness on the pattern itself. You can put your awareness on the dissociative pattern. And therefore we take it back, and then put your awareness to whatever degree you can on what's underneath it and give it good energy. And in that way, the body will do its job. It'll start to release at whatever rate it wants to. And that might take a week, it might take a year, it might take 10 years. And if it takes 10 years, that sounds like a really long time. But imagine the healer you'll be at the end of that. That's called an apprenticeship. You're becoming a healer. Like, that's what you're doing. That's the field that you're going into. This is your apprenticeship. So treat it that way. And you might, in the end, start to see this energy, start to see this trauma in a non-conceptual way. And I shouldn't even say see, feel it. Feel it in a non-conceptual way as a teacher. The same way, in a non-conceptual way, like, we feel like friends here. It's like, oh, this is a friendly group. Okay. You don't need to think about that. We just feel it. You can feel the trauma, that energy, as, again, a teacher, a mentor, something that's helping you, as uncomfortable as it may be. Okay. Again, look for clues. What's happening before, what's happening during. Whatever pops up, to whatever degree you can, put your awareness on it and allow it to open up at whatever speed it does. Give it good energy. Allow it to take as long as it's going to take. You can do this in meditation. You can do it throughout daily life, but also, more specifically, you can and should work with a therapist or a practitioner. Somatic therapists are my preference. There's like a big directory online. Hakomi therapists as well. As there is in anything, not all practitioners are created equal. So some are really, really good. Some are not so great. So keep that in mind. That's true of any field. What you want is somebody with a lot of experience, like decades, preferably. And of course, there's like guided plant medicine work. And I underline guided because if you just take a huge dose of mushrooms on your own and pop this thing open, maybe you'll get through that, but maybe you'll re-traumatize yourself. So I really prefer guided for cases like this. And yeah, otherwise, have fun. Have fun. It's a cool little like internal laboratory that you can play with and learn about yourself. And it's uncomfortable, but it's also really illuminating. Cool.
That's good. Thank you, Taylor. Appreciate you.
Hey, it's Taylor. I hope you enjoyed today's clip. And if you did, here's where you can go deeper right now. So my favorite part of the work that I do here is a daily email newsletter that I write every morning on the topics of human development and human potential, life strategy, training the mind, productivity and life optimization, and generally speaking, the path to self-mastery. And so if you enjoy these talks, I know you're going to love the newsletter. And if you'd like to check it out, hit the link in the description or head over to taylorallen.me and you can sign up free of charge. I hope we see you there.